7th, 1941, received the highest decoration that any United States service member can receive, even by today's standards, which is the Congressional Medal of Honor. As we're passing by these large white structures, you'll see that first one there says USS Nevada. Now, those white structures are called mooring keys. Those are what the ships were tied up to during the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now, the USS Nevada, some of you may not know the story behind what that ship was able to do during the attack on Pearl Harbor. The Nevada was the only battleship that was able to get underway and moving during the attack on Pearl Harbor. The reason for that is because while most ships in harbor that day only had one boiler running to generate enough electricity to keep the lights on and let the cooks make hot meals, the Nevada had two boilers running. While that doesn't seem like a whole lot of a difference, it meant that instead of taking over 2 hours to generate enough steam to get moving, it would take the Nevada only 30 minutes. Now, in the engine room on board the USS Nevada was a man by the name of Donald K. Ross. Donald K. Ross was one of the chief engineers on board that ship. And when they realized he received the order that they were going to try to make it out of the harbor and into the open waters, that way they could stand a better fighting chance against the incoming Japanese air raid and take a little bit of heat off their fellow ships that were being attacked, Donald Ross knew that the engine area would be a primary target. If you can immobilize the ship, it makes it a lot easier to hit. Being the chief engineer in the engine room, he would order that all other shipmates and sailors that he was in charge of to exit the engine rooms. That way he can seal himself up inside and man his station alone. After doing so, he would go to work, relieving pressure and keeping the engines running as much as he could. That would be until the toxic fumes and chemicals from the attack on the Nevada in the engine room would cause him to pass out due to lack of oxygen. Now, his shipmates on the other side of the door, realizing he was not responding to their calls, would go in, drag him out by the feet, and render first aid until he regained consciousness. As soon as Donald Ross woke up, he would run straight back into the engine room to keep relieving pressure buildup and keep the engines moving. That would happen 2 more times, where he would pass out due to lack of oxygen, be dragged out by his shipmates, regain consciousness, and go straight back to keep the ship moving. That would be until the captain of Nevada realized that they had taken enough damage and they were not going to be able to make it out into the harbor, into the open waters. So instead of allowing his ship to sink in the harbor, they would run it aground at